Whether you're part of a UX team or running an agency or even freelancing, there is a service that you should be offering, and I include myself in this. This realization struck me while I was preparing for my design leadership workshop next week, and yes, it's not too late to sign up if you want to. I was thinking about how most design teams are under-resourced, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, and we therefore need to be more strategic about how we spend our time. One issue is that we often get pulled into projects that shouldn't exist because they don't meet real user needs. We try to advocate for a discovery phase to research user requirements, but many colleagues just don't grasp what a discovery phase entails. Often, the decision to move forward with a project has already been made anyway. And the same goes for when you work externally. By the time clients reach out, the project is already defined and approved. We can't influence its direction as much as we should. So, we need to take some elements from the discovery phase, combine them with a SWOT analysis, and repackage them and present them as a new service that we offer. And this is where the strategic user-driven project assessment comes in. Yes, I did make that up, and yes, I am very proud of it, because it's spelled SUPA. Yes, I know it's another acronym, but bear with me, there is method to my madness. Why SUPA, you may well ask? Well, in a world drowning with jargon and buzzwords, sometimes you need to fight fire with fire. SUPA isn't just catchy, it's a Trojan horse. It's designed to grab the attention of those business analysts and managers, those people who love their TLAs, three-letter acronyms, and make them sit up and take notice. Plus, let's be honest, who doesn't want their work to be super? But bad puns aside, SUPA represents a critical service that we as UX professionals need to champion more forcefully. It's our chance to get in at the ground floor of projects, to shape them before they become runaway trains of misguided objectives and wasted resources. In essence, SUPA is a preemptive strike against poorly conceived projects. It's a comprehensive assessment that evaluates the potential success of a project from a user-centric perspective before significant resources are committed. Think of it as a health check for ideas, where we diagnose potential issues before they become full-blown problems. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but isn't this just a discovery phase by another name? And you're not entirely wrong. SUPA does incorporate elements of discovery, but it's more focused, more strategic, and crucially, is packaged in a way that speaks directly to business priorities. The key to selling SUPA is to frame it in terms of risk mitigation and resource optimization. So, for example, you might pitch it something like this. SUPA is a strategic assessment tool to help organizations validate project ideas before significant investment. It ensures you're not just building things right, but that you're building the right things. Emphasize that SUPA can prevent costly missteps by identifying potential issues early, align projects more closely with user needs and business goals, optimize resource allocation by prioritizing high-value initiatives, and improve project success rates and ROI. For in-house teams, position SUPA as a way to strengthen your role as a strategic partner rather than just executors of other people's ideas. And for agencies and freelancers, it's an opportunity to add value right from the project's inception, potentially leading to longer-term engagements. Ultimately, SUPA is delivered as a report or presentation focusing on the following areas. First, audience assessment. This is about clearly defining who we're building for. We need to ask, is this project targeting the most high-valued audiences within the organization? And do we understand this audience needs and behaviors? Have we validated our assumptions about them? Secondly, need assessment. Here we're digging into the why of the project. Does it address a genuine, validated user need, and how critical is that need? Are there existing solutions that users are employing as a workaround? This step helps ensure that we're not building solutions in search of a problem. Now, number 3 is a feasibility check. This is where we get practical. Do we have the necessary resources, time, budget, and skills to deliver an excellent user experience? Is the project scope realistic? Are there technical constraints we need to consider? And this helps prevent us from the all too common scenario of overpromising and under-delivering. Then there's risk mitigation. Every project has its risks, but not all risks are equal. And in this step, we identify potential design risks, things like usability issues, accessibility concerns, or misalignment with UI guidelines. But we don't just stop at identification. We also provide concrete suggestions for mitigating these risks. And finally, there's recommendations. This is where we bring it all together. And based on our assessment about whether this project should proceed from a UX perspective. If yes, what guardrails need to be in place? And if no, what alternative approaches might better meet the needs that we've identified? This isn't about us being gatekeepers, but it's about us steering the project towards success. To create a comprehensive SUPA report, you'll need to engage in a variety of UX activities that you're already familiar with. So here's a breakdown of the key activities for each area of the SUPA report. So with audience assessment, we're going to probably want to do some stakeholder interviews, user interviews, focus groups, surveys, the creation of user personas and journey maps, and analysis of user data and analytics. When we do the needs assessment, we need to do a UX competitive analysis, maybe some more user journey mapping, user story cards, contextual inquiries, card sorting, tree testing, that kind of thing. When we're looking at feasibility, we can evaluate the design complexity versus the user needs. We can assess the potential pain points with the solution we're proposing. We might review the user's expectations versus the scope, analyze the user's tech literacy compared to the proposed technology, identify potential accessibility issues, and evaluate the current user behavior versus any required change in behavior that the proposed solution would introduce. When it comes to risk management and risk mitigation, we might want to do a heuristic evaluation of any existing systems that exist or any prototypes that have been produced. We might want to address accessibility and look at security and privacy, look at UI guidelines, do some usability testing, that kind of thing. And then with our recommendations, we might want to do that as a workshop or a prioritization exercise, or create low fidelity prototypes or wireframes, or even start introducing a phased approach or MVP, or presenting our findings and recommendations back to leadership. Remember, the goal is to conduct these activities efficiently, focusing on gathering just enough information to make informed recommendations. So the exact mix of activities will depend on the project's scope, timelines, and available resources. Now, I could almost hear some of you thinking, wait a minute, isn't this treading on the toes of business analysts? And it's a fair question, and one that we should address head on. Yes, there is some overlap between SUPA and traditional business analysis. Both aim to validate the ideas and assessment of project viability. However, SUPA isn't about replacing or competing with business analysts. It's about complementing their work with a laser focus on user needs and experience. So this is how SUPA differs from and enhances business analysis. For a start, it's user-centric. While business analysis excels in evaluating market trends, competitive landscapes, and financial viability, SUPA brings a deep understanding of user needs, behaviors, and pain points. We're not asking, can we do this or should we do this? We're asking, will users actually want to use this? Secondly, SUPA focuses on the quality of the experience. Business analysis typically covers whether a project can be delivered within constraints, while SUPA goes further, assessing whether it can be delivered with a high quality of experience. We're considering factors like cognitive load, accessibility, and user satisfaction, areas where UX professionals have unique expertise. Then there's design risk assessment. While business analysts identify general project risks, UX professionals are uniquely positioned to spot potential design and usability risks early. We can foresee issues that might not be apparent in a business requirement document, but could significantly impact user adoption. Then there's bridging business and user needs. SUPA acts as a bridge, translating between business requirements and user needs. We're not replacing the business case, but enhancing it with insights that ensure the final product not only meets business objectives, but also genuinely serves its users. Then finally, there's prototyping and visual communication. As UX professionals, we can quickly mock up concepts and create low-fidelity prototypes to validate ideas. And this visual approach can provide stakeholders with a clear understanding of the proposed solution than a written specification alone. The key here is collaboration, not competition. Ideally, SUPA should be conducted in partnership with business analysts. While they dive deeper into market analysis and business viability, we bring our understanding of user behavior and experience design to the table. And together we create a more holistic view of a project's potential. By positioning SUPA as a complement to existing business analysts' processes, we're not stepping on any toes, we're strengthening the foundation of project planning. We're ensuring that users' needs are considered just as carefully as business needs from the very beginning. I hope I've convinced you of the value of SUPA for us as UX professionals and for our organization. So now the question is, well, where do we start? Well, you want to start small. You don't need to roll out SUPA as a fully fledged service right away. Begin by incorporating elements of it into your existing processes. For example, when you're brought into a project, ask for a short meeting to run through these assessment points. Frame it as a way to ensure that you're fully aligned with the project goals and can deliver the best possible outcomes. As you demonstrate the value of this approach, perhaps by identifying a potential issue early or by suggesting a more user-centric direction that resonates with your stakeholders, you can then gradually formalize it into a distinct service offering. For those of you who are working in agencies or are freelancers, consider offering SUPA as a standalone service. It's a great way to get your foot in the door with new clients, showcasing your strategic thinking and potentially leading to larger projects down the line. As UX professionals, we often lament that we're brought into the process too late, forced to put lipstick on the proverbial pig. SUPA is our chance to change that narrative. It's about shifting our role from just designing interfaces to shaping products strategically. By offering SUPA, you're not just improving individual projects, you're elevating the entire field of UX. We're demonstrating that user-centered design isn't just about pretty interfaces or smooth interactions, it's about building the right things for the right people in the right way. If you're excited about implementing SUPA in your organization but feel unsure where to begin, I'm here to help. I offer coaching services to guide you through your first SUPA process, ensuring that you have the tools and confidence to make it a success. Or for those of you who prefer a more hands-off approach, I'm also available to conduct SUPA assessments for your project directly. So if you're interested, drop me an email to paul@boagworld.com. But whether you use me or not, don't let another project start without proper user validation.